Hello and welcome to the Cranky Old Gamer. I tell you what, this seems like the summer of Kickstarters. Between me pledging for Zombicide Green Horde to a lot of the games that I've been reviewing this summer have been pre-Kickstarter, to I've been receiving a lot of the things that I've Kickstarted back in the fall and winter, and they're all starting to arrive now. One of which is the latest in the Tiny Epic line. You guys know how much I love Tiny Epic Galaxies. Well, now say hello to Tiny Epic Quest. I'm of mixed minds on this. It's a good game. I'm going to start off by saying it's a good game. I don't dislike it, but we're going to get to that. First, for the record, the game is from Gamelyn Games, and it is designed by the same guy who did Tiny Epic Galaxies, Scott Alms. Plays 1 to 4. The solo mode is very, very similar to the regular mode. There's not like, you don't need rogue galaxies like you do in Tiny Epic Galaxies. The idea of the game is to simulate a role-playing game. Like a role-playing video game, you have a large overworld map that you put together with cards, and all over this map are different locations. There's temples, there's goblin fights, there's rivers and roads, there's all kinds of stuff. There's monoliths where you can learn new spells, stuff like that. The goal is to win as many victory points as you can to beat your opponents. Go figure on that one. Didn't see that one coming. But the game is broken into a day and night cycle. During the day, you're using movement cards to kind of jump around the board. The goal is to move your meeples around and be where you want to be when night falls, because that's when the real adventuring begins. Speaking of meeples, this game introduces something that they are working on a patent for. They are called item meeples. I gotta say, they're really cute. It comes with a whole bag of them, 3 for each player. They are little plastic meeples with tiny little holes in them, and then you have a bag of gear. Each player starts off with a sword, a shield, and a scepter, but you don't get them quite yet. You have to complete specific tasks to unlock them. And then throughout the game, by completing quests, you can get all the other items like the lantern, the fairy, the potion bottle, the bomb, the boomerang. I wonder if these guys have ever played Zelda. No, I'm kidding. A lot of this game is very, very, very heavily cribbed from Zelda. It's an homage. It's an homage. It's not a ripoff. Make that clear. This game really wants to be Zelda, and it captures that. It really does. The goblins kind of look like moblins, a little bit. The character art kind of has a Zelda-esque feeling to it, and I like that. I kind of like it with a little, you guys, I see what you're doing, but it's cute. I love the artwork of this game. I really do. So anyway, as I was saying, with the item meeples, as you collect gear, you place the gear in the holes of the item meeple, and each one can only hold 2 items. Now, whether you choose to give them the classic sword and shield, or you want to give them a boomerang and a bomb, great. Each thing influences how you play the game. And that's pretty cool. I like that there's a lot of customizability. So basically, when night falls, you want your character to be either on a temple, a goblin fight, or a spell obelisk, because those are the 3 things that you do at night. There are other locations, but those are more immediate. For example, mushroom grottos, you get whatever the spell is immediately. When night falls, that's when it becomes a push your luck dice game. When the dice start to roll, the first player rolls the dice. 3 of the sides are going to have goblin attack, energy, and magic. The dice roller takes those onto themselves. The other 3 results could possibly be a torch, a scroll, and a fist, and the whole table gets to share those. Those are going to advance your temples and your goblin fights. So after the first player rolls, they pass the dice on to the next person, and the next person decides, do I want to roll, do I want to rest? You have a hit point meter, and you have a magic bar. And the magic bar, the higher it gets, the more damage you're going to take, but it's also going to help you learn spells and things like that. So it's kind of, you're like, I'm low on hit points, but I really want to learn this next spell. What do I do? And once all the players have rested, the night is over. If you have made it to the final step on a temple, then you defeat that temple. If you've done at least 5 damage to a goblin, you defeat that goblin and he goes into your kill track. Gameplay lasts for 5 rounds, night and day cycles, and at the end of the 5th day, whoever has the most victory points, that goes the most spells, the most goblin kills, the most items, the most quests. You add that all up, and whoever has the most is the victor. So, I know I've kind of thrown a lot at you. There's a lot going on in this game for being such a tiny game. This game definitely fulfills the epic part. So I'm throwing a lot at you. I'm going to go ahead and show you the components so you can see kind of what I'm talking about. All right, let's go. Like I said, there is a lot going on here. First things first, you've got your item meeples. As you can see, it is a small plastic meeple with 2 holes in it. You have your sword, shield, and scepters here. And another thing that I really like is the item rack so that you can see all of the items displayed as you pick them up from quests. Each one of these does pop out. And can go right back into a little slot. Item meeples are very easily equipped. Oops. And now you've got a little warrior to go and do battle. These are your world cards here. You're going to lay these out randomly to form your map. They have your castles, they have spell obelisks, goblin fights, mushroom grottos. There's a water temple. You see, you have to keep rolling scrolls to get through it. Or you could come over here and learn the dolphin spell. There's all kinds of different temples. There's like a water spell, or a water temple, an ice temple, a shadow temple, fire temple, all kinds of cool stuff. And as you can see, when you land on your castle, you gain 1 health or 1 energy. There's all kinds of cool stuff in there. Here's a mushroom grotto. Gain 2 energy for each hero you have outside of your castle. All right, cool. Every location is different, has different abilities when you land on them. At the end of the day, it's when you start rolling your dice. As I said, there are 5 dice. They are very, very pretty. They've got kind of this swirly effect to the actual die. And they have 6 faces. They have damage. They have magic. So we can get this to focus here. They have scrolls. They have energy. They have torches. And where's the last one? There's the fist. There's the fist. That does damage to goblins. Here is your player sheet. As I said, you start with a sword, the shield, and the scepter, but you have to complete temples to fully unlock them. And each one gains you special abilities. You have your health and energy bar up here, which are going to be indicated with these 2 tokens. And you can raise your max health and max energy by defeating goblins and gaining spell magic. Here we have our spell track. This is the multiplayer one. Now, as you roll more magic, you're going to see your magic abilities go up. The higher this goes, the more damage affects you. For example, if you're up to the level 2 of magic, you can learn any spell 2 above what you're currently at. So if you're at 6, you can jump to 8. If you're at level 3 and you're at 6, you can jump to 9. But goblin rolls are going to do double damage, and you're no longer going to gain energy. Kind of an interesting mechanic there. There's also a completely separate one that is a lot more complicated for the solo player. And here's your point tracker. This is how you track what day with this adorable, looks like a children's vitamin, adorable little token. You put them on day 1, day 2, day 3. And here's how you total your points. Your magic level, your quests, and your goblins. If you don't get any of them, you actually lose points. But the more you get, the more points they're worth. Total all those up at the end of the game and you find your winner. Here we have our movement cards. They have the indicator of what your movement is. So like the ship, if you are on a coast, you can move to any other coast. Griffin, foot, raft, horse. These are your quest cards. Shuffle these, and you lay 3 out at any given time, and any time you meet what this says, you claim it. So if this is out and you complete the fire temple, you get the bomb. What else? Movement. If at any time you have heroes on 3 map cards that create this formation, you get this card, so it counts as a completed quest. You advance your spell token by 1 in the spell library. Cool. And the last thing I do want to show you, on some of your map cards, there is a goblin fight. As I said, you'll see that there is this little diamond. These are your goblin tokens. You see where that diamond matches up. Your character stands here. Goblin goes here, matching up. As you fight and roll punches, you rotate the goblin to show how many hit points he has left until he is dead. On the world map, the goblins also have an aggressive side, which means they take more energy to go past. But if you land on a spot with a goblin, you flip it over to passive. Like I said, there's a lot going on here. There is a whole lot of stuff packed into this one tiny little box. All of this fits, and there is so much going on. And all of this makes for a very epic quest. All right, so now you've gotten a chance to see some of the components, so now you have a better idea of what I'm talking about when I describe these things. I really like a lot of the mechanics in this game, and I feel this game is best as a multiplayer game because then you're competing against yourselves. Here's why I said I'm kind of on the game. I like to play solo. I have a very slow job right now. I get to play a lot of games at work to pass the time. I do IT. And the solo game on this it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just really grindy. Like, you're trying to meet these really difficult point totals. And my problem with it is, and this does kind of bleed on into the multiplayer game, is the game gives you all of these things to do. There's so many things on the map to go and explore and check out. You've got all these different temples and items to collect and, you know, goblins to fight, and there's so much to do, but you don't want to do any of it. You want to gear towards points. You have to min-max everything. You have to make sure you get this temple, make sure you get the guys in the perfect, gotta get this, gotta finish the game. And I kind of, I don't know, like, I don't know what I was hoping for. I guess I was expecting a more free-form, like, RPG experience, like a micro RPG kind of thing. I don't know. Like, imagine playing a Zelda game and being forced to speedrun it. Speedrunning is cool, but that's not the joy of a Zelda game. For those of you that have played Zelda games, if you've ever played Majora's Mask, imagine trying to play Majora's Mask if you couldn't reset the 3-day time limit. It feels rushed. Like, the game is really quick, and that's great when you just want to play a quick game with friends, but when you really want to sit and enjoy a game that's called Quest, I think epic, you know, journey and exploring, and I don't want to say it's a bad game. It is a very, very good game. It's not what I was hoping for, I think. You've got a huge overworld map and plenty of places to explore, and you've got to get it done in 5 days. Fast. The solo game is fun. It's no Tiny Epic Galaxies, but it's better than some. I don't want to sound like I don't like the game. I really do like the game. I'm very happy with it. It's just not quite what I was expecting, I guess. Meh. If you and your friends play a game and after a while you're like, it's too easy, there's a variant. Each one of the map cards flips over and it becomes Gloomfall, which is a dark gloom has fallen over the land and it's night all the time. And it just ups the difficulty. Some of the mushroom grottos have different abilities now. There's different handicaps, but more powerful boons. I have not played the Gloomfall. I found the game to be challenging enough as it is, but I think a lot of people will really enjoy that. All right, guys. Well, I think I've covered everything. I hope you guys have had a good time, and I hope you do check out Tiny Epic Quest. If you do enjoy my videos and you want to see more, please do check out my website, thecrankyoldgamer.com. I put all my reviews up there, plus any kind of like Kickstarter news or board game news or my personal thoughts, plus any updates with the channel. I have had to make a few changes with the channel. Like, for example, I moved my uploading day from Wednesday to Friday, and I talk about that on my website, the reasons why I'm doing it. I try to make all my announcements on there. If you like seeing pictures of board games and me playing board games and all kinds of board game related junk, please do check out my Instagram, The Cranky Old Gamer. And if you like what you see and you want to help support my channel, I would really appreciate that. At the very end of the credits, there is a link to my Patreon. I would appreciate it. Any little bit helps. Plus, if you support my channel, you get your name at the end of the credits. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Once again, this has been Tiny Epic Quest. We'll see you later.